So talk to me about the challenges. We want more inventory here. Obviously, that was the big thing before COVID hit. We need more hotel inventory, 2 million visitors. And I think we can get there again, definitely. It's competitive. We can be a competitive venue. But being in the real estate industry, I understand the challenges of bringing that inventory to the market. And I was in the midst of it. And part of that is we don't have the information we need. So can you tell me about what you're doing to incentivize and make it easier for someone to come in and do a huge hotel project, which in excess of 60, 80, 100 million, those sums are huge. And most places, they have good information.
Right. And so I think the key for me in this role, but also just in general for Guam, is we need to do a better job of operating as Team Guam and not being so siloed, really wrapping our arms around each other, looking at opportunities to collaborate both on the public and private sides, right? And so this is one thing that we're doing with air service development. We've really tried to get in a room with our partners at the airport and come up with all of the incentives that they have on their side, opportunities that they have to kind of reduce their fees within FAA regulations, and then what we can do from a marketing perspective, and then also other air service incentives. And so we're providing that to our airline partners as a Team Guam kind of package. And we need to do a better job of that with GITA, with land management, with our partners at the airport and GVB, and really thinking about holistically Team Guam. These are the people, the targets that we're trying to invite to come and invest on Guam. And here's all of the things that they would need to know, and here's the way that we're going to provide that kind of concierge service to help them to provide sustainable, responsible development on Guam.
Got it.
Sounds really easy, like, okay, we'll just have one meeting and it's all going to happen. But, it's taken a long time for these silos to kind of build, and so it's going to take a little bit of time to, do a better job of getting together.
Wait. What I like and I appreciate is we're not approaching it the same way we always do.
Right.
I think we're looking at it differently.
Have to.
And for me, one of the core tenets is the product on its surface has to look good. And one of the things that Saipan has, right, is it looks good.
It looks good.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but
shout out to our brothers and sisters at the NMI. Yes.
So in terms of land use, like, when you talk about product, a lot of our product doesn't look good. Just even in commercial frontage, in terms of building maintenance, and we're seeing people come to the market with like awesome tools, like for power washing the algae off of.
With the drone.
Drones, right? Shout out Charlie. And so, but how do we mandate as a community or incentivize people to clean up their properties and clean up, or even just with island beautification, adopting a park, or we have so much raw land, privately held land here that's just overgrown and not maintained, but that detracts from the product.
Yeah.
What are we doing about that?
I think, so 3 pieces that my mind is going in terms of that kind of discussion is, the Island Beautification Task Force, and shout out to the Lieutenant Governor. He's really starting to, or has been working with the community to move a lot of that forward and kind of put his foot down and say, hey, these eyesores, these buildings have been a problem for a long time. We've tried with carrots. Now we're going to go in with a stick. Like, what do we need to do from a policy perspective to make sure that people are keeping their buildings up, right? And then we're also looking at, having discussions with the legislature on minimum maintenance standards, especially in the hotel zone.
Yes.
It's not enough it's really amazing. And I think we all know who these people are, right, in our community, but you're driving down to the heart of our tourism district, and there's buildings that really need to step up and do a better job.
And not just in the tourism district. I mean, in everywhere, in Agana, all that stuff. And it just comes down to and so even socially, our social issues spill out onto the street. There's in the Plaza de España, there's always, that's one of the places I'd want to see if I was coming here. But because we're not handling our business, in terms of providing attainable housing for people, providing solutions for the people who are just out on the fringe. That detracts from the product. Where is the focus on that?
Yeah, I think we all need to do a better job of that and really, thinking about the pride that I feel like we used to have when I was a kid, island pride, and really don't be a litter bug, and all of these, kind of slogans that we have kind of coming up here in Guam, but really thinking about our tenets and our Chamorro values of inafat maulik and respect and caring for each other and making sure that those kinds of things are always at the forefront of everything we do, both socially and in business, the way that we kind of promote who we are as a people. And it needs to reflect that in our public spaces, in the way that we do business.
Right. Because the way we treat, our least fortunate is a reflection on who we are as a community. Right. And so I don't understand how you can go and say, hey, I need help, but then not understand that you as a member of the community have a role to play in solving these problems.
Right.
And I think in terms of working and collaborating with the community, we talk about marketing and spending money and telling a story. Well, what about solving some of the problems that affect our story and, some of the things that are at the forefront and just on display? And how does it make you feel as a visitor when, there's someone just staring at you and just, you just want to help them and your heart goes out? It just shifts your experience. It's not, It shifts it from happy to something else.
Yeah, it's been a long time challenge. And I think that, the way that, again, we focusing on, our land and our people and making sure we have those opportunities for folks to really imagine and kind of lift themselves out of, tough situations, I think, and letting them know that we're not turning a blind eye. We are, extending our hands out and making sure that we're helping them along, It's really challenging both from a crime perspective, drug use on Guam. Those are all real challenges. But again, all that investment in our people can really help to turn the tide, both investment in training and education. A lot of that needs to continue to happen.
Right, but I don't think billboards with mugshots help very much.
And I agree with you on that.
Right? I understand the concept, but
Yes.
It's not necessarily a good look. So
yeah, it's challenging, and again, just kind of thinking about the story that we're putting out there and we're marketing to our visitors. But what's the story that we're telling ourselves? And really kind of looking in the mirror and making sure that what we're promoting and what we're marketing is actually what the experience will be when you come here to visit us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.